Well, he's only 17 years old, but Lamine Yamal is widely considered Barcelona's most important player. Last summer, he helped Spain win the Euros. This season, he continues to star. He's leading La Liga in assists, with Barcelona sitting right at the top of the table. Inevitably, he is drawing comparisons to Lionel Messi. 2 weeks ago, at 17 years and 7 months old, he became the youngest player to make 100 appearances in all competitions for club and for country. And I guess when we talk about who's going to be the player of this generation, he's a name that is very much at the top of this list, Jamie?
Yes, he is. I mean, what he did in the summer was just, it's probably one of the greatest stories you'll see in the history of the game. You think of sort of some of the famous players of the past. I mean, I want to say a name now. You think of Pele, who's always a player. You think a 17-year-old winning the World Cup in 1958. You can't quite believe it happened, but, you got the footage of it, and you see what he did in the summer. It was out of this world. And, speaking to Thierry earlier, it was really interesting, Thierry. You sort of, you love him as a player, but there's almost like a little bit of worry there about him as well.
No, not worry. You just he's Lamine Yamal. Stop comparing him to Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi is going to make his own path. What's good on that list is that all those guys had a career and are still playing. So I was getting worried at one point that he was maybe playing too many games too early, if you know what I mean. But he's just a player that I like to watch. But one thing that I will say that is not normal what he does is, forget about, I've seen players young arriving on the scene and scoring goals and skills and whatnot, defending, attacking, is how mature he is. Like when they won the game with Spain against France at the Euro, it's 2-1, and remember the goal that he scored.
Dropped his shoulder.
And they go on the counter. Ball goes, I think it was minute 60 something or whatever it was. Ball comes, he has a 1v1 with Hernandez. At that particular moment, if he goes and plays 1v1 and he goes on the counter, no one would have said anything. He just touched the ball, he passed it back to Carvajal, if I remember well, and he just went, he said to everybody, pose. I was like, okay, he's a bit too ahead for me. To have that at 17, not go and play your 1v1, you just scored in the game, you're 2-1, no one would have said anything. He took the ball, he passed it back, and he went, calm down. I went, okay, normally at 17, you don't tell your team to calm down. They tell you, okay, hey, keep it. And that's where I'm like, okay, this kid is a bit too ahead of the game for me. It's nice to see. I like to watch him play also.
Jamie talked about kind of the volume of games and the worry or the concern that can cause, because you wonder, he's got another 15 years to play at this volume of games. Is that sustainable, do you think, Micah? Do you worry about it?
I would worry about it a little bit, because I've been in that situation where I got exposed to professional football quite young, and I ended up with a lot of injuries. Of course, it's different positions. He's way more slight than I am, but I just don't want to see him burnt out. I think he needs protecting at times, but Jamie made a really good point in the green room earlier. How do you protect him when he's so good? He's good enough to play for any team in world football. That's how good I think he's a superstar, including his country as well. So, he's a superstar. They'll come around once probably every 50 to 100 years, and he's just that good. And yeah, we should be looking at protecting him, but he probably wants to play as well. We talk about records all the time with Ronaldo and Messi. He probably wants to set records himself.
He does, but I've been in that situation before, not myself, but I've seen someone arriving on the scene like that, Bojan Krkić. I don't know if you guys will remember, and I invite you to go, because I don't have time to explain everything. I invite you to go and check and look at his documentary and what it can do to you when you're young and you don't know how to deal with everything that's happening to you too quickly. It can be also some. That's why, because I've lived that one with Bojan, where he kind of lost his way in terms of anxiety and not being. He didn't like to be seen too much. That's something that sometimes people do not understand and don't even try to understand. They see you there, you're performing. They keep on forgetting that he's a young kid that went from not being known to dealing with everybody that thinks he's good. By the way, he is good. I'm just saying that I lived that before. And by the way, I just want to shout out to Bojan, because for him to go out there and to talk in the documentary and to say what he did say about how hard it was for him to deal with that extra pressure. He turned down going to the Euros. when Spain won it the first time, and watch the documentary. I think it's a good watch because it will make you understand what it is to be a star really early.
Bojan Behind the Smile is what it's called.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
Is it on CBS?
Sounds like... It's not.
Well, we say go
We're
watch it. I
happy
want
to
to watch it. It's on
we're happy to
CBS.
recommend good content
Just because
anyway.
you promote different broadcasters, we want it on CBS
The
though.
one person
Paramount
who
Plus.
doesn't.
Oh, Paramount Plus, fantastic.
Slanderous.
Slander.
Anyway,